Spirit here. I want to talk to you today about what happens, or what I notice happens when I stop eating a raw vegan diet and when I sort of fall off the wagon and I'm not eating as perfectly as I like to. I think that happens to everybody. I see a lot of people on the internet who, I've been perfect for 10 years. I haven't had anything cooked, but that doesn't happen in my life. I go for longer periods of time being really perfect, but you know, stuff happens every once in a while. I had house guests a couple of months ago, and I started off really perfect while they were here, but they were eating, bringing other food into my apartment. That happens a lot. People bring in stuff you don't eat normally, and you think, well, I'll just have one bite of that, and before you know it, it's 2 months later, and you're eating things you don't want to. At any rate, you know, when you just eat regular food all the time, you probably don't notice what it feels like. You think that the way you feel is just normal. And since I have eaten so purely, when I go off of that, I really notice the difference in what happens. And I've got notes here. I've got 8 things that I notice, and I could go on and on. And I'm not talking about disease or anything chronic that can happen to you from eating, cooked foods and animal products and dairy on a long term. I'm just talking, the difference I noticed from going back on them for like a month, say. And the first thing I noticed, and I'm talking about alcohol too, so we're talking about dairy, cooked food, fish, and alcohol. I'm not talking about going to McDonald's or anything like that. I'm just talking about what generally is kind of considered a healthy diet. Here I was still drinking my smoothies, still eating vegetables. The first thing I notice is, your sleep's affected a lot. When you're eating dairy, when you're eating a lot more salt, when you're drinking wine, your sleep is not going to be the same as it is when you're just eating pure food and sleeping very purely. First of all, you're digesting all that stuff while you're sleeping, so your body's not getting repaired, and you're just not sleeping as soundly. I notice my face, first of all. Salt is just awful. You get up in the morning, you've got these big puffy bags underneath your eyes that aren't normally there if you're not eating, salty food. Any restaurant food is really salty food. It's all, I don't know of a restaurant that I've been to anywhere where I don't wake up the next morning and I've got big puffy bags under my eyes. Plus you get big dark circles under your eyes because you haven't been sleeping well. And then you're just tired anyway. When I eat really raw vegan, I wake up in the morning and I wake up before my alarm clock. I can hardly stay in bed. I want to get up. When I'm not eating that way, when I'm eating regular food, I have to drag myself out of bed. I'm hitting the snooze button. You just don't feel energized the same way at all. You feel bloated. And if you're used to eating just normal food, you probably don't even notice that you feel bloated. But from the salt, dairy bloats you, alcohol bloats you, all that. If you're eating animal products, everything's getting stuck inside your digestive system, and it's not going through as quickly. So you've got, food sitting in you for, a day or two, backing everything up. I'll start to gain weight. If you eat low-fat raw vegan, you can't gain weight. It's impossible. You're not going to ever get fat. It's not going to happen. If I start eating regular food again, you start gaining weight. And on top of that, you're tired, so you don't want to work out. So you've got a double-edged sword there. I'll start getting aches and pains because all that food is very inflammatory. Fruits and vegetables are anti-inflammatory. You feel good. All your joints feel good. But if you've got lower back pain or something wrong in your shoulder, or your knees kind of bother you sometimes, that's all going to exacerbate that when you're eating, dairy and meat and salt and alcohol. If you're not eating any of that, everything just feels so much better. You're able to do more. You've got the more energy. You're exercising. It makes so much sense, doesn't it? You lack focus. You've got like a brain fog. I can't concentrate on things. I'm not as smart when I eat that food as I am when I just eat fruits and vegetables, because everything in your food is making your brain too. It's not, you don't just have a brain sitting in there that has been in there your whole life. It's constantly rejuvenating, and the food you eat is making it. So it's making a better brain, the better the food you eat. and 7, we're on here, you just get, your body's just not as pure and fresh. You've got bad breath, your gums might bleed, your fingernails after a while aren't going to be as strong. Um, you've got, you just, when you go to the bathroom, it doesn't smell as good. You don't taste as good. Um, you're just, your body's just not as fresh. You might need, that's why people need deodorant. If you eat all raw vegan all the time, that's, you don't have body odor. You don't, because you're just made of fresh fruits and vegetables. And last of all, you're in a bad mood. All this stuff all adds up. You're sleeping not working well, your face looking crummy, you're tired, you're gaining weight, your joints hurt, you feel bloated. Your self-esteem is just going to go into the toilet, and you're just not going to be in a great mood. And so many people tell me that, you make your own happiness. Well, if you eat and feed your body and sleep well and exercise well, you will be happy. It makes you happy. It's hard to get away from it. And I just wanted to explain to you that's what happens when you go off eating a low-fat raw vegan diet. If you go back onto it, all that stuff comes back, like in a week or two. You just immediately start seeing it and feeling it. And so for any of you who haven't ever experienced that, I would ask you to try it just for a couple of weeks. I'll talk in another video soon about how to do that and how to start. And you can look on my website and see how to do that. If you like this video, please press like here. I think it's down there. And share it with somebody who who may be feeling this way and maybe needs a little kickstart. And I hope that I can share some recipes with you in the future to get you started on how to eat a nice, pure, clean lifestyle and never feel all those crummy feelings again, and just feel energized and fresh and focused and light and fabulous. Thank you for listening.